Hi, I'm Sydney Bennett, and I'm currently in Senior Seminar 2 with Dr. Robinson. I'm a mass communication major with a minor in sociology. I've created this video to share with you my senior project journey. Included in this will be what my topic was, what I've chosen my deliverables to be, how that relates to communication, as well as some strengths and limitations that I'm facing with my deliverable. And I'll also be providing tips for you who are currently in the class. So just to begin with my topic, I did my research on personal branding and online branding or online presence as it relates to college students that are transitioning from college to the workplace. If you're unfamiliar with what the term personal branding means, it's pretty much the idea that people are their own brand. And as their own brand, people need to market and advertise their brand effectively. What I found in my research was that a lot of literature targeted or pertaining to personal branding was not targeted towards college students. So a lot of literature about personal branding was targeted towards people that were already in their career or transitioning from one career to another. I immediately saw the need for literature to be out there pertaining to college students and how they can create their own personal brand and communicate that brand effectively, as well as how their online presence that they already have is contributing to their personal brand. This all relates to the communication process if you look at it like this. The sender is the student, the message that they're sending is their personal brand, and the receiver is the future employer or the customer. I realize that a lot of personal branding takes place online, and I also know that college students spend a lot of time on their computers or spend a lot of time online. So I decided that a good deliverable for my project would be a website. So I'm creating a website titled brandyou101.com. The website will be designed to educate students about what a personal brand is, how important it is that they develop it and are able to communicate their own personal brand, as well as give them personal examples or examples of college students that I know that have been able to communicate their brand effectively. Also give them strategies with creating their own effective personal brand. Some strengths and limitations that I'm facing is what I'll talk about now. Some of the strengths is that I've finally found a deliverable that I'm comfortable with, which is the website. I've also found a web host that I think that I'm going to use. Another strength is that I've connected with people that are willing to help me with the website and also be featured on the website. Some of the limitations that I'm facing is that I still have to conduct research. I have to conduct research on my paper as well as with the deliverable. This takes time, and it means that I can't exactly start to implement the production of the website. Another limitation that I'm facing is that I have other classes that require a lot of other work. This means that I have to be strategic and dedicate time into my schedule for working on my project constantly. And then the final limitation is that I'm constantly trying to figure out which resources that I need to use on the website and the right people to use for the website to be the most effective. Now to get into some tips for you. One of my first tips would be to expect to be stretched. In this class, you will be encouraged to work to your maximum potential. You will be asked to use all of the skills that you've learned throughout your college career, so be prepared to be stretched. In the end, you will realize how important this class was and how this class made you a better college student. My next tip would be to be okay with the process. This entire class is a process. From picking your topic to writing your paper to picking your deliverable and on, it's all a process, which means that it takes many drafts and many rewrites. Be okay with not knowing what you're doing and not knowing your next step. Being that it is a process, at the end you'll see how each step that you took led you to your final goal. I also would encourage you to ask questions. I know that was something that I struggle with. In other classes, I didn't have to ask as many questions because I pretty much knew where to go with to complete the assignment. But for this class, I had a lot of questions, and there were a lot of things that I just didn't know and support that I needed from my professor. So I would encourage you to be okay with asking questions. The other tip that I would give you is don't procrastinate. You will be required to do a lot of work for this class, and you don't want it to build up and suddenly turn into this monster that you haven't dealt with. So each day or each week, handle what you can for the project and just try to stay positive. Now that I've shared with you some of my research project journey, including the deliverable, how it relates to communication, as well as the